I don't know where it comes from. I think it's literally, I don't know, but it will be like me it happens when I try to express my feelings sometimes too. I'll be like, I don't feel like I don't really want to go to this, but if you really want to go, it's okay, but I'm not sure. And if you think...
Yeah, hello everybody to the Yenta podcast. Today we have an amazing comedian. We have an amazing writer. We have an amazing person.
Where?
Teresa Lee.
Oh, it's me.
Those are clap sounds.
Oh, yes. I thought you were telling me to clap. And I was
No. I'm just telling you that I'm also clapping.
Myself. Yeah.
Teresa's so cool, you guys. I'm so excited. I'm so excited that she's here. We co-produce a show together.
Yeah, Birdhouse
in Glendale.
Very fun. Next one's July 21st.
July 21st, come through. This might be just you gotta hold it like
gotta hold it like this.
Yeah, you have to hold it a little bit close.
Let's see. This is everything is recorded for Instagram now, and I sound like an old person. I probably shouldn't give away how old I sound because I went to the mic that you weren't there that day, but the one that you also
the
run.
Schmoozy mic.
Yeah, and
at the Belmont on Thursdays.
I was talking to your co-host, and I mentioned that I was graduated college like over 10 years ago. And she was like, what? You don't look like that.
Are you a
And
grandma?
then I was like, oh no.
I mean, you don't.
That's nice.
Look at your fit.
Yeah.
For all the listeners, Teresa's wearing a hot pink fuzzy sweater, a blue.
This is probably this I got as a costume for something, and then I wanted to make it into a crop.
It
was a bunny romper. It probably was one of those like sex lingerie, but you know what I mean? The Yandees or whatever.
Yeah,
but I made it into like a top crop. Yeah.
Teresa, intro yourself.
Okay.
I just kept talking over you.
No worries. Hi, I'm Teresa Lee. I am a comedian. I used to have a podcast. Sometimes I have one
Teresa
too.
also has a podcast. You have to listen to it. It's called I Can Tell You Anything. You can tell me anything.
Yeah.
And it's great.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's kind of on hiatus now, but I think I will bring it back. But maybe I'll just pass the baton to you because
it's the same idea.
It's not. Well, it's been 4 years now, so I do feel like I think I want to do something new, but it is Confessions. It's slightly different.
It's a little bit different. But it was like when I came before I started this amazing Yenta podcast, I knew Teresa had a podcast. So I was like, hey, Teresa, like, give me some idea. Like, tell me about how it is to have a podcast. And blah, blah, blah. And I was like, this is my idea
Godfather.
for a podcast.
The pod mother.
You just tell everybody your secrets.
No, I actually remember that day because it was really nice. You asked to talk, and that's kind of why we ended up doing a show together.
Yeah.
So I like when things organically, where you're like, oh, I started to, like, I saw you on mic, and I was like, oh, very funny. And then we did a panel together, and then you reached out about the pod, and I had been thinking about starting a show and wanting to, I think it's good to have a producing team that's, not all from the same comedy generation. I think that helps with, the flow of things.
I like that.
Yeah. So,
also like booking different types of people.
Yeah, for sure. And just like being able to work different muscles. Cause I think, like I know when I was a few years in, I wanted to like do a lot more hosting, and now I think I want to like maybe come in and out with featuring, but I also want to like be able to run, like produce and whatever. So
because you've been doing comedy for. Do you want to say?
Oh, sure, 10 years.
10 years.
Mm-hmm. Are those cries or claps? My mom crying at my tax return.
Yep, it's that one. It's just a voice effect of your mom.
Yeah.
No, Teresa.
What? Why did we? What I wanted to say was I met up with you to talk about the pod, and that day was a really good day because I had booked a commercial, and then I went in there so happy.
Whoa.
It was literally like right before. I think I told you this, right? Like right before. Oh, okay. Well, I thought
good luck.
Oh, yeah. Because right before I went in to meet with you, I got a call from my commercial agent that I had booked, and I hadn't been booking for a while. Like, but yeah, I think it may have been the one I maybe the only one I booked last year.
Oh well, that's more than me. What did you book?
Well, so the sad thing was it was a national Super Bowl commercial.
What?
But I'm not in it because we ran out of time to shoot my scene. So I only got paid for the day, but I didn't get the residuals. But I did book it. So on that day I was happy. But the day that we shot, I was unhappy because I didn't get to shoot. But that's okay.
That is sad.
Should have brought you there. You should have come with me.
Maybe you'll get something after today.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll see. I don't know. Okay, so you've been doing comedy 10 years.
Yeah.
What have you learned in those 10 years? Or what's like the shitty...
That's a broad question.
I know. Like, if you had to give advice to a young whippersnapper...
Oh, I mean, the landscape's changed a lot. So I don't even know if I'm like, I mean, I know I'm not like the pro on how to start today, but I think the things that people told me when I was starting still feel true. Like definitely I think work, like, you know, knowing your voice and knowing your friends and not trying to, I think cause we get really, I'm like this too, but getting obsessed with trying to like get the next thing like JFL or certain showcases or getting obsessed with comparing yourself. But that kind of doesn't sink in until much later where you're like, oh, now I get why people kept saying just like chill. Because they do happen, but also you're always going to feel like someone's doing something you're not. Just like when you're doing something, you're not focused. Hopefully you're not focused on how you're doing it and other people aren't. Like you're just doing it. And so if you just focus on what you're doing, it's just going to feel better.
Oh, wow, look who came! Wow! Wow, we have a brand new visitor on the Yenta podcast
I'm a
today.
Special guest.
So
sorry for being late.
Yeah.
It's hectic.
Oh my god!
You just made an entrance. That's how you made an entrance. Yeah.
I like to show up to all my
now
podcasts.
Can I leave
late.
and come back again?
Come back in. You know, do like a whole tight.
You do your own entrance.
And then what you'll do is you'll leave and then you'll come back in.
I want the big one.
We should just not be on the podcast. We should all leave.
Just the whole podcast.
An empty couch. Hello.
Yeah, exactly.
We were talking about Teresa.
Ray asked me for general if I were to give advice to new comedians. I don't know if I gave good advice.
Teresa's been doing comedy for 10 years.
Yes, nuts.
I'm trying to think of what I got advice that one I still don't really do, but people used to tell me when I started, and I think it is good advice. You should do this, but you should just like actually listen to yourself more. I think people do this now with more Instagram, but like I'll record on my iPhone notes and then I have so many ones that I still won't go back and listen to. And it's not that hard and I don't know why. And I just never really got good about it doing it.
I find it so hard actually to listen to myself.
But like that's good advice because it really like whenever I do actually sit down to be like, I'm working on this new joke and then I'll run it and record it. It is so much faster when I listen to it because I actually hear delivery and then the laughs and whatnot. But it is hard to listen to your own voice, which it shouldn't be if you have a podcast. But I mean, I'm speaking at myself, hard. But it's hard. It's hard. It's there's that cringe factor that's just us judging ourselves really hard, I think.
How long do you think it took you to get over it? If you're over it.
I mean, actually, doing a podcast helped me because I do listen to my podcast to edit it and quality check, and that helped a lot. I still don't love to listen to my sets, but now I just do it right away now. Otherwise, I won't. Like once I get in my car, I just play it.
You have to do
That's smart.
Yeah.
I always push it back. I'm like, I'll watch it tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'll watch it next week.
You gotta do it right away.
Okay, that's a good piece of advice to all of our comedy listeners.
Do you ask everyone for advice?
I do. Okay. Yeah, it's very selfish.
Even if they're not comedians, Ray's always like, what do you do?
Okay. How do you write a joke? I need help.
Go to louisck.com and
watch any Netflix special and then just do that.
Yeah. Oh, easy peasy. Who are your favorite comedians? Besides
you.
Us. Yeah. Besides me. Sorry.
I get it. I came in late.
It's funny because
you're an on-time comedians.
I used to get very insecure about this question because I didn't grow up watching comedy. Like I started in New York, and in New York, I feel like everyone's like a comedy nerd where they started watching all the greats. And actually, you have, I don't know if it's yours. I was going to ask, you have a Shakespeare book in here?
No, mine.
I went to Shakespeare camp. I love Shakespeare. I love playwrights. Yeah, so I would say like one of my favorite comedians. Honestly, like literally, that's where I learned to write jokes.
That's so cute.
But also, I didn't really like start watching comedy till I started really doing it in terms of like live. So a lot of the people I look up to were, I guess I'd say like the seniors when I was a freshman, that sort of deal. Yeah, like Jenna Friedman, I love. Sarah Schaefer, Ronnie Chang, Ali Wong, Todd Barry, but they were like hustling and doing shows as big names already, but still like, out and about when I was starting out. So that's who I would watch and be like, oh, like John Mulaney, It's funny now because I'm like, I don't know that I would call John Mulaney one of my favorite comedians now. Not because I don't like him. It's just you kind of like grow out of the phases, like, you know.
Sure. Yeah.
I love his new special.
Yeah, I'm sure it's
so
great.
much.
I haven't seen it. No, I mean, I don't say that even like shadily.
You hate John Mulaney.
It's just like you have more time to watch and be excited when you start. Yeah. I'm just,
John, and maybe Sarah Silverman. I bet I can get Sarah Silverman one day.
Yeah, probably.
On the Yenta pod.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
Yenta means gossip.
Yeah, I've watched Fiddler on the Roof. Yeah.
Okay,
How much have you done the spiel yet? Did you do
I forgot the spiel.
You forgot the spiel? Wow.
The listeners already know. Teresa.
But it's also Matchmaker?
Yeah, it's like a gossip
Matchmaker, make me a match. Find me a find, catch me a catch. Oh my God, I do love The Fiddler on the Roof.
It's a great movie.
It's one of my regular sing-along musicals. That, Les Mis, Phantom.
To have a regular sing-along to.
Well, I just Les Mis and Phantom are also very dark.
You like a good tragedy. I see.
Yeah, I do. I love that sunrise, sunset. And then,
It's funny that you said you weren't like super into stand-up like growing up, that it was kind of like you're saying it's like that fascination with it started really when you were doing it, because I was very similar. Like I didn't really watch, because like I'm from Arizona, like we have no like local comedy scene.
Nobody has humor that. No,
exactly. Yeah, exactly. And so like I watched maybe 2-3 stand-up specials in my life, and then when people were like, "What are your favorite comedians?" It's like, well, the people around me, the people.
Do you know Mary Upchurch? I did a weekend with her for New Year's, but she's from Arizona. I don't know, great comedian. Mary Upchurch. I don't know that many Arizona comedians.
Everyone from Arizona.
Okay.
Or comedians in Arizona.
No, they're not nice to me when I try to do shows back there. They're like, "No, you're in LA," and I'm like,
"Really?"
Okay.
I heard that they love LA.
New Yorkers hate LA too. Everyone hates LA.
Yeah, I think it's just you, Jen.
I hate LA
because you're always late.
Do you like LA?
I do.
I
kind of.
Of course you would.
Yeah. Why?
Because you're young.
Thank you. I am.
No, it's young. A good. Yeah, no.
Jack's even younger.
Yeah, I am.
Not to blow up your spot.
Sorry.
But you like LA because LA's for you right now. LA's like
you look. Teresa, New York you look like 23.
Well, that's very nice. This is all stuff that would have been in style when I was like 10. So this is like
it's the look.
It's come back.
Yeah,
truly butterfly clips.
Yeah, that's so funny.
That's nice. No, New York is. I don't think New York is an old soul place. It's a place where people are like, I'm going to be young, but that's because, I have trauma. Which is here, it's like, let's all pretend we don't have trauma, but actually we do.
We all have it. Versus here, everyone's like well aware we all have trauma. We're a little too upfront.
I think LA there, yeah. Well, I don't want to shit on LA. I do like it here, but definitely as a comedy scene.
New York is 100% better.
I like New York better.
I think the New York comedy scene is way more competitive and people are less nice. Because of it.
People are nice here.
No, they're less nice in New York.
Really?
If you could believe it. In the stand-up scene.
I have no clue.
Because you've never been. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's I guess we'll never know.
New York versus LA. The time will tell. Wait, I want to ask you a little gossipy question.
Okay. Sure.
You were on Ashley Gavin's podcast.
Yes.
How do you feel about all this shit going down with her right now?
I don't know what she's going on. I'm going through a breakup. Okay, first of all, I just moved in with my boyfriend and I'm going through a breakup with him of 3 years. And also I'm not working because of the writer's strike. So I'm working at a cafe and Ubering. I'm sure there's a lot of...
I'm also working at a cafe.
Lost Parrot, and I'm very excited. Okay.
Starbucks.
Yes. Oh, that has like way better corporate benefits.
No.
Oh, that's cool. In the Grove?
No, at Americana and Brand, if I have any fans.
Oh, okay. Don't they pay for your
at their job?
I heard Starbucks pays for like courses.
Barnes & Noble does not.
Well, I don't know. Okay, so give me the brief, but also I will say like I feel like I'm walking in a trap, but also tell me what's going on. But I don't know what's going on. I actually don't. Is it bad?
We can just cut this whole part.
I don't think it's that.
It's not that bad at all. I just think it's fun to talk about because I'm a Yenta.
Sure. It has to do with the podcast.
No, actually not at all. It has to do with like... Okay, she did this thing, which I think she does all the time, where like a fan was heckling her a lot at a show.
Okay.
And she was like, go kill yourself. Like as she does in like her like mean,
and then they killed themselves.
No, that would be really bad. No, they posted a video on TikTok of them crying about how mean she was for telling them to go kill themselves.
Were they heckling though?
I don't know. I assume they were. Yeah.
Look, I think, okay, here's what I think based on just what I've heard so far. I think it's good to have emotions. It's healthy to have emotions. I think it's healthy to express your emotions. And I think that is a good thing to be able to do. And I applaud you for expressing your emotions. My brother did kill himself and he's never been to a show of mine. So honestly, I win. So
You win.
You
win.
You have to do the crowd work.
You didn't have to do any crowd work for that. No, he went to Ashley Gavin's show.
Well, I guess then this
I
is
would have liked
this is
Ashley
the real
Gavin's
question.
show.
I mean, because obviously, like, I think we've all been heckled at a certain point in time. Like, what's your line for, like, you know, being genuinely mean back to the person that's heckling you? Like, where are you, like, I gotta go? Like, have you ever gone too far where you've, like, lost the audience?
I think
like,
I think it depends on the type of comedy you do. Because I'm not mean on stage because I'm scared.
Yeah.
But that's not my defense mechanism. Not that that's Ashley's, but I'm just thinking what you're saying, like, because I've seen comics do that where they actually get mad and then lean into the anger. Mm-hmm. But I think all that comes in, like, experience. If you're good at it, you know that it leads to something funny. Hopefully, because you're
sure.
So you're almost like allowing yourself to play up the emotion that works for you. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean?
No, absolutely.
Whereas, like, I think hopefully nobody's going. I mean, it is still a performance. Hopefully, nobody's going on stage completely losing control and just having a panic attack. But if you're like, I'm good when I'm honest, then maybe you just snap into the honesty. Or maybe I'm like, I'm good if I act flustered, then I just lean into that versus trying to be. Well, yeah, I think definitely.
Is that what you do?
I haven't had any really bad heckling stories. You should look up Ariel Elias has a very wild one.
Yes.
With the beer can.
Yeah.
Same.
Yes. Do you know her?
Maybe
from
we'll
New
have
York.
her on the pod. Yeah. I mean, it's very, we don't issue the well, but from New York, but it's, I think a lot of people think comedy is all about, like, the people think of comedy, they think of heckling, but
they think of crowd work, especially nowadays, I think.
Because I think people want to feel like they're in the room with you and they got to see something happen, which I think a good performance anywhere, Broadway, whatever, has that too. Strip clubs, whatever, it doesn't matter. Like, strip clubs. The idea is like you're present, right?
It
like,
feel in the moment. It should feel new.
Yeah, so hopefully the material is making people feel that way. I think just what gets posted, because typically comics don't want to post too much of their material, or at least back in the day. Now we want to post everything. Yeah. But they didn't used to want to burn material, so that's what gets posted is like crowd work and heckling. Yeah. That's a very boring answer. I'm sorry. I just gave you like a very like pedantic,
you haven't been
answer
in such a bad way. That's a good thing. That's like impressive.
Remember, this is like a traumatizing whatever moment when at the Birdhouse show, which is a sidewalk
very fun show. Also,
outside of a chicken shop.
Yeah,
like,
I love Rockbird.
One
so
of the
good.
best chicken sandwiches I've had.
I picked that place because I used to live near there and I would get their sandwiches. I missed it and I was like, how can I come back?
And get free sandwiches every show.
Yeah, I like literally,
But remember that guy like came up to me, as I was performing or as I was hosting or something. It was
Remind me, okay,
like,
kind of vaguely.
Vaguely. Like I don't know how to mentally ill, something off with them kind of person.
Like, not an audience member, someone just walking by.
Just a guy on the street.
Just a guy on the street that walked by that started talking to me that was clearly like off. Crazy. And you had, and I was like, I kind of flustered, but you had to be like, oh, hey, we're doing a show. Like, can you leave? Do you remember that at all?
Vaguely, yeah, I think so.
It was such a bad moment.
I'm so sorry. No, that is like, that is the thing.
You just yelled at him.
You know me. I'm one of the lean into the anger kind of.
I know. I'm gonna lean more into my anger.
I had a clip go viral where I yelled at a guy and called him like a meth head and shit.
Yeah.
He was, being drunk during.
And
I
was there live at that show. And it was so great. It was so great.
But it was so much fun because I like being mean sometimes.
I know you do.
You know, one of the good things about comedy is that sometimes if they initiate, you get like a free pass.
Ooh, this is interesting. I have a question because this is maybe more of a generational thing, but I'm very interested in the answer because I think when I was starting out, there was a lot of me, myself included, feeling like not as safe in certain comedy rooms because they tended to be. It definitely was like still not great, but it definitely was a lot more just like lowest common denominator jokes, like especially like making fun of like races and genders and things like that.
That has not changed.
And now, well, I mean, but there's definitely a better conversation about that now. But there was a transition when it was almost like alt comedy was not mean comedy. And it's interesting hearing you say this because there used to be, I think, this release that people enjoyed. I don't think it was because they were being mean. I think genuinely a lot of audience were ignorant or had a blind spot where if someone on stage was making fun of an Asian accent and there were no Asians in the audience. Sure. What was fun to everyone else, like I'm putting myself in these people's shoes, benefit the doubt, that what's fun is like, it's kind of like that. It's that like taboo. They're driving in and it's funny, but they feel like it's okay because everyone's laughing. And I do think some people think of comedy as mean, and some people really don't like it because they're the ones picked on. But you saying this made me wonder, like, is that meanness coming back, but in a different way, where it's against hecklers?
No, I think it's the same way.
I mean, I don't go on stage with, like, my goals, like, how can I be mean? Like, I don't think my jokes I tell are, like, mean or, like, about, like, you know, bully other people. Like, I don't really, like, tell, like, race jokes or anything like that. Mm-hmm. But, like, you know, I think that there comes a moment where, like, when you're on stage, like, I mean, the show that I did, it was, like, you know, one of those bringer club shows. You know what I mean? Where, like, you have to bring 5 people, like, there's 20 comics
Shout
in
out,
the lineup.
Comedy Chateau.
Yeah, let's...
Where we also hung out.
Truly, we met. Yeah. And I'd only been doing comedy for like a year at that point, so I was like not like super experienced, but like I never had a heckler. And it was like I was the 4th comic up, and this guy was like heckling everyone. Yeah. And it was at the point where like, okay, if I tried to do material, which I did, it like no one was laughing. People were just focused on the guy.
Yeah, you had to.
And so it was like you have to bring him up, and if he starts getting aggressive, you either can do 2 things: you can meet him at his level and shut him up, or you can try to divert it away. And I don't know if I was good enough yet to divert it in a way that wasn't directly head on, if that makes sense.
I mean, there's no right or wrong. I think it sounds like you learned in that moment, but you know what I mean? That's like what those are for. Yeah.
But also you crushed. The audience loved it.
No, they loved because it was like they all were like, this guy's an asshole. And like,
they wanted to watch him get beat up.
Right. And so I think it's
verbally beat up.
That's why like when people heckle, but the comments are positive. Like I hate positivity heckling because like
because you don't want to shut them down.
They're like, you're doing so great. I'm like, I can't be like, what do you do with that?
I know.
You know, I'd rather you like call me a slur. Like it's.
I once had someone say, I love her, but like to their friend about me, and I just froze. I just like did not know.
You're like, do you really? Because you misgendered me. It's interesting you say that though, because I do think some of that just. Well, how long have you been doing stand-up?
Almost about 2 years at this point.
Okay, we're the same.
And that's like I would say I relate to that. No, and that's like not. And I don't bring that up as a way to be like for her, because I think it's like I think of it like. Teresa. But I'm not, and that's why I mean I wasn't doing podcast 2 years in, and that's why I feel like that question. I used to get asked and feel weird about it, and so I'm just trying to say that's not why I'm asking, but more because like that makes sense to feel that around 2 years because. Over time, you'll just have more experiences like that. Like, hopefully you don't, but like just statistically.
You should.
Yeah, and I think so much of it is less about having a plan of what to say and what to do and more just being comfortable in a situation. Like, I think, like I drive Uber and now I get every once in a while harassed by passengers and, you know, not very often, but once recently some guy called me a communist. I didn't feel like unsafe. I just felt like it was a guy who wanted to like argue, you know, because he.
Sure.
And so comedy has trained me in that way where I'm not getting triggered. But it is okay if you're a person who gets triggered because it's like a normal thing to react to. So I think that's more where that comes in over time is just knowing how to just be there and be like, let me read what's going on. Is this guy like, is he a danger? Or, you know, is he just trying to get attention? How do I shut him down? And that I think is like more this is the boring answer again, but the pedantic answer of how to deal with hecklers is how do you make it so you're actually in the room and you know everyone's there as opposed to like I'm mad and this guy needs to die like you know what I mean but it sounds like you handled it well.
I mean obviously like I played up the anger, like I wasn't actually angry, I didn't give it,
but you said you were reacting to the room too,
but like it was like when I could tell they were laughing what I was saying, I wasn't like I was like, I'm doing something right here.
Yeah.
Right, you started small also, and then once the audience was laughing, you kind of went bigger and then bigger, and then you called them a meth head.
I think people like who actually get, I mean, obviously depending on the situation, something's different, but like, you know, like beer bottle getting thrown in your head, I'd be pretty fucking pissed off.
Yeah, that was crazy.
But like, if like, I think, you know, it is still a performance, and it is still like, he's not the only person in the room, and you can deal with the heckler. But if it becomes too personal, it becomes too like pointed, and you're only really talking to him, then you're losing the entire room.
I do think that's part of the job of the club, to keep the performers safe. And they usually, most clubs, venues will do a good job with that. Ones do, I think. Or the producers, like in our case, like if you're on stage, like one of the other producers. I never get
heckled in alt clubs, to be fair. It's really only like mainstream like bar clubs where it happens.
But I think the safety part is really important. If you're feeling unsafe, it's always okay to call security. That's what they're there for. But also, and it's also, I mean, I don't have an example of this. I don't think I've ever seen it, but just FYI, if anyone's watching, they're like, oh no, I have to stay on stage. If you truly feel unsafe, you can like, you can leave a job if you feel unsafe.
Sure.
And it's a job. You can say like, this is not like, you know, I'm sorry, like you guys don't deserve this because you're like literally making me feel dangerous. Whatever. I mean, you know, there's this fallacy that everything always has to be funny. I think if you're a funny person, you're already on stage. So you're funny. And I think it's okay if
you're funny just by getting
someone's threatening you, like, and your goal shouldn't be like, how can I make this funny? I think the goal is
how should I turn this into a clip?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's a controversial opinion. Because I say that as someone who, like, I think most of us in those situations would find a way, because it will find a way to read that it's not actually as big of a threat as that person's pretending it to be.
They're usually just drunk or something.
Yeah. But if you're really in that moment, I don't think the good comedian should like fight the guy with the gun. You know what I mean? Like just
no,
you know.
I also think there is a privilege, and I know I have this privilege of like, you know, there's a difference between like a male straight comic responding to a heckler versus someone who is like queer or something that is like responding to a heckler. I think that I know that I can get away with a little bit more.
Sure.
By being
well, that's what I was kind of hinting at with the new generation, because the audience tends to be almost like they're used to being the ones who are the punchline, but now they get to be mean too. So it's kind of like there's like it's almost like a little bit not fun, but it's almost like, you know, a little bit wish fulfillment. If you're yelling at someone who's actually rude to you, they're kind of relating to like, yeah, you tell them, like that meanness,
right.
You know?
No, of course. I think people love to be mean.
Yes.
To be fair, yeah.
I really don't. I don't like to be mean.
We're gonna perfect segue. I don't like to be mean either, but
I actually don't like how it makes me feel. Like, so I
always feel bad afterwards.
Yeah.
If I'm ever like, I'm like every time I do like I do crowd work on someone, it's like it's a little pokey. I always go up to them afterwards. And like, hey, are you okay? Was that too much?
I do that too.
Unless like, especially if it's like I'm like it's another queer person or something where I'm like, oh hey, like we made like jokes, and I'm like, I never want to make someone uncomfortable.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Because it is like this, like it's the show. It's like like take over the room and have control, but the goal isn't to win. You're not against the audience. Like you're actually like, they're kind of like putting their hands in, they're like trusting you to take them on a ride. So it's like, they're already giving you a key instead of being like, ha, fuck you. Like, it's like, all right, let's see what's behind this door. Like they want you to take them there. And you know, if it doesn't happen, it's okay. It's like, people understand, like it's a live show, you know, sometimes the light goes out or sometimes there's loud noises or an alarm, you know, like it's not always perfect. But I think the audience generally wants to be taken on a fun ride, and every once in a while there's people who are mean and want to ruin the show, and I think it's fair to kick those people out.
Yeah, I think mostly people want, like, you don't buy a ticket to go heckle a show.
Yeah, some people do.
Usually.
But speaking of fun rides, let's transition to our secret.
Oh, okay. I planned them this time.
Oh, good. You have one.
I have.
Okay. So are you ready to go first?
Do you want me to go? Do you want me to go first?
You can go first.
Okay. It's an anxiety.
I feel like we're at a sleepover.
We should have
Let's go in. Let's change the name to a sleepover.
Yes. Okay, so recently I've been getting like really, when I get high, sometimes I'll like either be fine or I'll get really anxious, right? I smoke a lot of weed, and I've been staying up really late because I've just been like in a writing phase, for like jokes and shit. And you know, when you're just like writing it, it's like, okay, I don't know when this is gonna stop, so I gotta do it. I gotta keep doing it.
You got flow.
Yeah, I'm very like, I have to feel it in order to want to write, and then if I don't, I'll just be in a stuck for whatever. And so I've been writing till like 3 a.m, and then I'll go to bed. I'll be really anxious because I'm like kind of half awake, not really, whatever. And I'll like trick myself into thinking that there's like an active arrest warrant out for me. Yeah. And so what I've been doing is I subscribe to a public records website where at any time I can Google myself and find out if there's a warrant against me.
Wait. Okay, hold on.
Yeah. Just to like make sure that like there's nothing there. Like there's nothing that's so like.
Is it a real fear? Is it a real fear, or you do this to give yourself inspiration to write?
No.
Oh well, I think I got.
I haven't done this on stage.
Bridge me from. I kind of like got lost in from the writing part to why do you want to be arrested?
Because I'm writing. Right.
Okay.
That's why I'm.
Oh, so you're kind of like looping.
And you're paranoid.
I'm a little paranoid. I'm high. Right. I'm like on weed.
That's right.
And then I'm like in bed. I'm like done writing. I'm like, you know, like in the 20 minutes where I'm like, you know, before I fall asleep or whatever.
Is anybody out to arrest me right now?
Because I don't know. To me, getting arrested is a big fear of mine. Even though I've never committed a crime.
I feel like you have, Jack.
Yeah, what crimes have I committed?
What? I don't know. Where does this come from?
That's the thing. I don't know. Because I'll like think and I'm like, I don't know what crimes I've done. And I don't know if I've committed any crimes. But like wouldn't you be like worried if like you like Googled yourself and like you saw like a warrant out for your arrest? Would it be like good to know you had time to prepare?
This is interesting because
he has a go bag ready to get to Mexico.
They're not going to arrest me at 3 a.m. They're going to wait until the next morning. So if at 3 a.m. there's an arrest warrant for me, I can get out of Dodge.
Oh wow, that means that means there's like a plan, because when they plan to like get you at a certain time, I feel like it's not. Okay, wait, but no.
It's so confusing.
I do have another question.
Why
okay.
is this confusing?
Well, first let's clarify.
It makes no sense.
How?
No, I can kind of follow. I'm just kind of trying to like answer some basic questions first. Like what
did you do to deserve
No.
arrest?
I don't know. That's the thing.
What in your mind happens when you get arrested? Because I'm trying to understand like how the fear, the nightmare plays out.
In my mind,
yeah,
you
what
get
happens?
Arrested, right?
What does that look like? Like someone opens the door, pulls you out of bed, or
someone kicks down the door.
Cops knock on my one bedroom.
Okay.
They go, we got a warrant to arrest you for whatever.
Yeah.
Right? For something that I didn't know I did. I go, but I didn't do that. And they go, well, it's in the thing.
Okay.
And then even if it gets sorted out, at least I spend a night in jail. I don't want to do that.
So that's the fear, is more just, it sounds like being...
I'm afraid of being falsely arrested.
Yes, okay. It feels like the fear is... Because I was trying to understand, is the fear like, you know, being put in handcuffs or being like read your Miranda rights?
I don't care about
it sounds like it might be that feeling of like, it's like someone, you don't have the info. Because I relate to this fear. Like, because when I was little, like my mom said I did something wrong, and if I didn't, or if a teacher got mad because they were like, "You did this."
But I'm 25. It's a little too old to be like constantly worried that someone's out. The cops, like, you know what I mean. The government.
Did your parents like do the thing when you're a kid, like threaten you that you were gonna get arrested if you didn't eat your dinner?
I don't know where this fear comes from. It's only a recent fear.
Do you know anyone who's been arrested? Like, have you seen them get arrested?
I know people who've like gone.
Like you've seen them get arrested.
Yeah, but like I haven't, not for like violent crimes. Like I've never like met someone that's like now in jail forever. Like usually a couple nights.
I'm just imagining the one day that it's actually gonna have the warrant out for the arrest for you.
Well, no,
and you're just gonna be like, I knew it.
I might be wrong now.
Well, you can get arrested for very noble things. I mean, I've never gotten arrested, but literally only because I left a protest earlier.
Nice.
And part of me was like, man, and it's a stupid thing to think, but I was like, if I was there and all my friends are getting arrested, I also would have been arrested. And I'm like, fuck yeah, I would have been arrested. Okay, not to make fun of being arrested, but the point is like, I think the point of someone coming to your door is a different feeling of invasion of privacy than if you're just being arrested for doing something that you feel right.
I'm out, like, doing something that I believe in, like I'm like a protest, or like I'm, maybe I get arrested for doing comedy. I don't know. Maybe I'm on stage.
That's Lenny Bruce, right? I mean, Lenny Bruce used to get arrested for that.
They're saying such controversial things. I'm the new
old comedy used to be like that.
Yeah, really.
Marvelous Mrs.
Lenny
Maisel
Bruce would say dick, and they'd be like, get the cops. It'd be nuts. I watched Mrs. Maisel. And it's look, I get it. It's an unfounded fear. It doesn't make sense. The people I've talked to about this don't get it. Haven't brought it up with my therapist yet. That's for Tuesday.
I think you should.
That's for Tuesday.
I think
want you to look me up next time.
Do you want? I can.
And text me that there's no warrant out for
scary part
arrest.
about it? Can I tell you the kind of scary part about it? So in this public records for $5, I can get anyone I want, every address they've ever had. So if you are registered with the government, I can find out where you live like that.
There is a whole show my friend used to do about public records, which leads me to think that you should do a show about turn your fear into art. Do a show called How Do I Get Arrested? Or invite the audience to arrest. I don't know. You could just have fun with it. You could do something fun with it.
I want to have a citizen's arrest on stage.
Yeah, or you could do a show where at any point your show has to stop because you might get arrested, and it's like the whole
stakes are high.
Yeah, and the whole show is just you
keep them on their toes.
I invite police there, and I'm at any point, if you feel like I've committed a crime, stop the show.
I think there was a podcast confession on mine. Oh, Nick Turner, I think, talked about. But they were doing like kind of a political theater thing, but and it was more like one of those but they did have a show I feel like I'm botching the details, but basically shut down because they were like, we have to shut you down and we're going to arrest you. But it was more like kind of, they were also showing, like both sides were doing a bit of performance. You know what I mean?
Like the cops do?
Kind of because they were like,
Oh, they were
I gotta really listen to my own episode. No. They were genuinely trying to shut it down.
Podcast episode.
But it could happen.
Into your advertisement.
No. I think you should do a show about this. I think that would be funny. I think so. I think you should. And then you do comedy while you're afraid of being arrested.
Yeah.
Paranoid. Police paranoia.
Well, maybe like less of the police focus.
Yeah. Come arrest me.
I don't know if I want cops at my shows.
Come arrest me. Cops.
Get me piggies.
Piggies.
I'm confident now. I'm confident now, but at 3 a.m, I'm like an ultimate sub. I'm just like, please, cops, please don't.
You know what? Okay, now I'm thinking of marketing ways because maybe it's just maybe it's just a show.
You produce this show.
Yes. Because maybe here's the thing. Maybe it's not that the show is.
Teresa's an unbelievable producer.
You do your comedy. It's just a full show, but the marketing is it's like a wanted poster, and you're like arrest warrant out. Or pending, arrest warrant pending. And then you have all the details like, this is where I'll be. You're like, if you're looking to arrest me, this is where I'll be. 8 p.m. at this theater, Elysian Theater. And then people come watch you. And you're like, the beginning of the show, you say like, I am afraid that there's no arrest warrant. There hasn't been one today, but I keep checking and there could be one while this show happens. I have let every authority know where I'll be today.
They gotta update it eventually.
Yeah, and be like, I will be right here. So at any point in this show, I may be arrested and you can't get your money back. And
you can't. If I get arrested,
that's really good. There you go. That's the opening. And then you go and do your show. And then at the end, maybe you get arrested.
You hire people to come in.
Maybe you don't. Yeah.
Steve, you have to come to the show to find out.
Is during the show I can commit several crimes.
Yes.
In front of the audience. And then if it's
see what happens.
And the hopes that one of the audience members is like, okay, I gotta call the police. This is too much.
You could like say the word dick.
Yes.
You could do time machine where you go back
to if I make like a communist joke, ooh, look at me.
Yeah, and then stream it in China.
Collar crimes, like go on the blockchain and buy some.
Yeah, I wouldn't suggest doing anything
money.
with paper trail, but definitely not a blockchain. But maybe you could you could travel back in time and commit a crime that was illegal back then.
Right.
Be gay. You could do that.
Oh, so I could
just be gay on stage.
It could be a period piece. It's a period piece.
This is a comedy show where we're all going back to 1952.
It's a period piece. Yeah.
Even though I'm getting arrested
oh my God.
for real, the laws are fake.
This is a great idea. I'm giving you gold.
Okay, we're going to transition to my secret now.
You better fucking one up.
Okay.
Which is actually very on theme for Jack's secret.
Love a theme.
Okay. Which is that when I was in college, I would shoplift a lot.
Ooh, what'd you shoplift?
I never got arrested.
Yes.
This could be me coming out.
Was it for the thrill?
I might need a warrant.
Or for the thing?
Because I stole groceries all the time.
I didn't steal groceries.
That's like that. I feel like stealing groceries is not shoplifting.
Everything's buy one get one.
That's not shoplifting. That's because if you're stealing something you need to live, it's different.
If it's $150 worth of groceries, it is absolutely shoplifting.
If it's a luxury good, then it's shoplifting because then it's like the thrill, right?
No, for me it was so I would really only take like makeup when I used to wear makeup and like beauty, like feminine stuff.
Ooh, interesting.
Because for me it was a protest move. It was like, how dare you tell me that I need to spend money on lipstick?
I don't want to pay for this.
And nail polish. How dare you? Like the capitalist machine is taking over our insecurities so that we have to buy more things.
Interesting.
It's like, I'm never gonna give my money to L'Oreal. Yep.
Okay.
You're like, I do not want to support this company, but I do want a bold lip.
I do want
it. Me for free.
But if I take it, I'll use it.
But goddamn mauve is in this season.
What store, at what location, in what city did you do this? And at what time?
Are you trying to arrest me?
Well, I can definitely figure out if there's a warrant.
Well, I want to know now. It was like, I won't be that specific, but it was in New York. And it was at various drugstores.
Most of the shops in New York, a friend of mine told me because he used to work actually Peter Kim, comedian, used to work at like Banana Republic Gap. But he worked in New York, and they actively plan for loss just because it's going to happen.
They don't
even chase you. They won't chase you.
Yeah, it was totally fine.
Yeah, they won't chase you. No.
Well, I know the only one I know is like Target, which is sketch, where they'll track the amount that you do, and then they'll wait until you steal enough that it's considered like a criminal thing.
So they can arrest you.
I would say probably not that much. If I'm not, maybe like under $200.
That's like psycho. Like I mean, I almost said psycho ex-girlfriend, but that's also outdated. But that term, where they're like, I'm gonna wait to prove you're cheating. But I need to actually what's the updated because I know that's not the right, but you know what I'm saying. But that outdated notion of like, I'm gonna catch you cheating, but first I'm gonna set you up and then get all of the evidence, and it's like, okay, maybe we just don't do that anymore.
It was like every MTV show in the 2000s.
Yeah, sitcom-y, very,
Yeah, it was like,
I guess Psycho X. I still say Psycho is probably outdated too. Like maybe manipulative.
Mental health
manipulative
issues.
person who doesn't know that they're in a situation they can leave without making it worse. That's not catchy though.
Nice.
Also fun.
I like Psycho better.
Okay.
Let's stick with Psycho.
Worse, but it's better name, better title.
Did you ever get scared shoplifting?
I did. I got scared, but maybe the thrill was fun part of it too. I don't know. That wasn't why I started doing it.
What was your strategy?
It was really like a feminist thing.
I stole Pokemon cards at a protest.
Against
against
big card companies.
Mm-hmm.
I was
against
Hasbro.
Mattel.
Yeah.
Hasbro.
Okay. I don't think Mattel made Pokemon.
No, I made
that.
I think they're
someone
Japanese.
Did, and I'm protesting.
Did you have a strategy?
Yes. I don't know.
But what? Oh, you don't want to say it.
The strategy was I would actually buy things, like regular things that I needed, but I would just like slip the item.
You're like, chapstick, no color.
Oh, so you would have rolled enough, just take something and walk out.
I didn't do that.
Okay.
No. I was very strategic about it.
Okay.
So they thought I was like buying something.
Right.
So they didn't know that I also had something like in my pocket or something.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
But
so this sounds like an expensive shoplifting habit.
Yeah.
Because you have to buy more things. It sounds like comedy. It's like,
I spend $100 a product for this $7 lipstick.
Yeah, come to this show and get a free sandwich and spend your own money on making all the...
I'm losing... That's just like this podcast. I'm losing so much money.
Someone just tell you we can make money off of this.
We haven't made any money yet.
Well, give us money, people.
Patreon.com/Yenta. It's going to happen soon. Maybe it'll happen by the time this episode's out.
You sell hats. You're both wearing hats. I didn't realize. I didn't get the pink hat memo.
Oh, yeah. It's cute.
Should I wear my... I don't have a hat.
Do you have a hat? Well, I have a hat because of bald.
Oh, I love
That's
that.
That's fun.
I love that the three.
You should sell little pink hats. That's a Yenta.
Maybe I will.
Little Timmy Turner hats.
I want to get merch one day.
So what crime did you commit?
Yes,
because
that's the theme.
Man, just being hot.
That's
a looks could
arrest her.
No, okay. The confession I was gonna say is so different though, but I might as well go for it because I feel like
change it up.
Yeah. it's actually like embarrassing. And I was just thinking about this because I do say so much stuff already that I'm like, this is just one that's not, I don't know if it makes any sense, but I since the pandemic, okay, it's a more new thing, but I realized I like do baby talk, and it's not, I think I dissociate and do it. So, but it's not like, it's not sad, but it is like
with your partner?
Or,
with my partner, well, my ex, and sometimes alone and with my dog, but mostly, definitely not in the wild that I've known, but it's something that my sister pointed out once, and I didn't realize I was doing it until she said it. I can't do it on command, but when I'm doing it, I can't get out of it.
You can't like do it now for like, you can't like give us an example.
Dude, give us a little sample.
I can't, well.
Like imagine there's like an infant in
a
the
dog.
No, it's not. Okay, here's how I'll explain it. I do think it's a version of dissociating, but I think it's exactly the kind of baby talk that would annoy me if someone else was doing it in public. If that makes sense, you know, like adult talking like a baby. And I noticed I started doing it probably because when I was living with my boyfriend, I did it enough where I was conscious of it, but then I didn't stop it, if that makes sense. And then I'd be like, oh no, like, I don't know if I can do it. I really don't want to do it, but I'd be like, oh no, I'm doing baby voice. And then
did he like? No,
I mean, like, no, he was very respectful. Like, I think he understood. I think he understood like something was going on. But I didn't like was that I felt like I was maybe, because there are people who do it as a fetish thing, and I was like, I don't want it to seem like. Do you know what I mean? I didn't want to seem like I was going into that.
It's a kink. You want to be. Yeah. It's purely professional.
I didn't like that. I felt like maybe it could just like. Nobody knows what's going on in my head, and it could just seem like that. And so I'd always be like, oh no, I'm doing this. I don't like this. I'm sorry. And he's like, it's okay. Like, it's fine. I do it when I'm stressed. Okay. I'm trying to think of an example. It's hard to go into. Like if I want to like water, it's funny because it's actively as I'm trying to do it, it's physically difficult, and that's why I'm like, it's something I can't control.
What if we pull up a picture of a dog?
What if we like put you into high stress?
I could do it. Okay, I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna hate it.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna cringe like how I hate hearing my voice. So, but it would be like if I was wanted to get water or something, like, can you bring me some water? Like that.
Oh,
that's still not bad.
Yeah, you sound like just like a little. You sound like a valley girl.
Just gets a little high.
No, but it's like, but it's so funny because even now doing it, I'm like, what was that? But it'll be like,
can you bring me some water?
No, like,
I'll stay in it. I'll be like, I don't know. I just really like this, like this. Like it's like full on baby adult. Like, and I don't. It's
like shy.
Yeah, but I don't know where it comes from. I think it's literally, I don't know, but it'll be like me trying to. It happens when I try to express my feelings sometimes too. I'll be like, I don't feel like I don't really want to go to this, but if you really want to go, it's okay, but I'm not sure. And if you think, and I'm like, oh no, I'm doing baby voice. Oh no, I don't like it. Why make it stop? It's like that, but it's like, I don't know. It's making me cringe right now, but yeah, I don't know where it comes from, but I've been doing baby voice.
You know, some people are like, do you have what? I don't know what that was.
That sounded vaguely racist.
Do more of that, Jack. Do more of that.
Do what? No, wada? It's like where your R's are like W's.
Yeah. Okay, wata.
I don't want to go to the park today. Where's the park?
Yeah. I probably is more baby. Like me doing it now, I'm like trying to imitate myself.
You're like an adult baby.
Yeah. It's kind of weird talking about this because it's something that I'm like, oh, like I'm aware of, but I don't quite understand. Sure. And that's why it's weird talking about it because I'm like, what does this mean? And things that are unknown scare me.
Do one of your parents do that?
You know, definitely not my dad that I could think of. My mom sometimes does do it. Not that much, but actually it's interesting to say that because I'm like, oh, I don't like it when my mom does that.
It's always
it does bug me.
Or
it
bugs
dad.
Me. It's always one of the parents.
Well, it's the one that's acting childish when I guess it wouldn't bug me now, but as a child, I'm now thinking about that. It's like, oh, what bugs me is probably that she is, she's got trauma and she needs to deal with it. And I don't resent her for that now, but as a kid, when you don't know and they're not able to take care of your needs and then they go into baby mode, you're like, the fuck, mom. So yes, there's probably something there for sure.
Okay.
Therapist Ray.
Oh,
This is now.
Yeah, but I need a way to get out of baby
discovery
talk.
on the
You
pod.
guys seem concerned about. You guys seem like you think it's cute. Like I personally think it's so cringy. It's like people going to Disneyland as adults and acting like children, and you're like,
here's what I'll say. I've heard it worse.
Way worse.
That's what I'll say.
Okay.
This is one when you were like, oh, I need baby voice. I was like, oh, okay, this must be like, can I have Wawa or like some like weird, like you just.
That's how it feels like to me though.
What did I? At least if this is what it is, all it was is just it's a little bit in a higher pitch.
I think
maybe she's toning it down.
No, I don't know. I think that it feels like it's like the Wawa to me, but maybe it doesn't look like that. But it does feel like that because I feel like I'm not in control, and I also feel like.
I think you're gonna be out of frame.
Oh. Fine, let me get nice and.
I wonder. Perfect.
Physicality too.
Yeah.
Physicality. I mean, now I'm in my podcast mode.
Yeah.
I will say I've never done it in public, and I've never done it on stage.
Listeners.
So
You've never done it on stage?
No, so I feel like there must be a block in my head, but what scares me is I don't know what it is. And it's like, what is happening that's making me feel like the baby me is coming out? And I'm like, go away, baby Teresa, go away. Never come back. Like,
maybe she should be a character for your stage.
We should do a double show where I get arrested
and I'm the baby. Oh my gosh.
It's a dual half hour.
I feel like we'd get the wrong audience for that.
Yeah, people who want to get arrested and like baby voices.
Wow.
Yeah, literally a kink show.
Yeah.
That's not what I
And I'm
was
not,
thinking.
well, yeah, that's what I was thinking because I'm like, I'm an Asian woman saying like, come here and hear me do baby voice. I'm like,
and maybe get arrested.
And I'm a young Jew being like, I'm gonna get arrested.
I'm not, no kink shaming, but I personally just don't like to be objectified as a baby.
Sure.
But if you enjoy it, I think go for it,
Just objectified as an adult.
Yes.
That's fine.
Yeah, that's final answer, yeah.
Cool. That was a fun secret. That was an interesting discussion.
It was.
That led to lots of a big discovery, I think.
Okay.
Maybe not.
No, yeah, I think so. I think I never tried to do it like this performatively. And so that was interesting because I was like, in my mind, I think that I could, just like I think I could stop. But the only time I've gotten to stop is my sister actually was like, you can stop. And then like literally was just like, talk to me like kind of like annoyed, but also like the adult me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I was like,
your twin sister.
Yeah.
I'm pulling up questions for our advice segment.
Ooh, questions.
We have an iPad.
We have an iPad. We're at Big Bucks.
Questions. I feel like it's hard to do a baby voice when you think about it.
It is. It really is.
What does a baby talk like?
I want the ice cream.
I'm trying to tap into it, and it actually is like there is a block. Like I can't do it. Yeah.
We gotta get a baby in here, right?
Oh wait, Teresa.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Next on the pod, we'll have a
Just an
baby.
infant
Yes.
that we interview about stand-up comedy.
Yeah, next time I go into baby voice, I'll call y'all.
Please.
Like, come over, please.
Yeah,
Come over. Me want milk.
Okay, this is a
Babies drink milk.
No shit that you're worried about it being a kink if you go, mommy want milk. And
I said me want milk.
me want milk.
Oh, yeah.
Still.
Mommy has milk. Mommy, I want milk. No, I'm just kidding.
I think that's the clip. I don't know what the fuck just happened.
But we were focusing on questions. We were focusing on milk.
I was just doing my hosting
milk?
duty.
If any fans out there got some milk for our
Yes,
babies.
give me some milk.
Some milk for the
But
babies.
oat milk because I'm lactose intolerant.
Some soy milk for the babies.
Please don't stop. Actually, please just keep going
Almond
for the
breast
rest of
milk.
the
I actually
7
used to
minutes
choke
of
on
this
my
pod.
mom's boobs when she tried to breastfeed me because I had a heart condition, but I didn't know this until I got older that like I couldn't drink breast milk, and that's why they fixed my heart. But recently I was driving Uber and I drove a mom breastfeeding, which I'm all like, yes, you're allowed to do that. But I didn't realize I never had that. Like I got triggered and it was fine. I didn't like kick her out. Imagine. No, I was
You were like, get out.
no, but I had a feeling of like
Boobs, gross.
like instant like, and thankfully I have that performer thing that was like, you're at work, but I felt the moment, like the emotion of like, it wasn't fully in anger, but it was like, not resentment, but almost like indignancy. Cause I think because when I was little, I couldn't drink the milk.
Jealousy?
But not as an
Do
adult,
you remember that?
No,
you
that's
just
what's
know?
wild. And not as an adult, but just it. And I never, I've seen friends breastfeed or whatever, but it was so different because I think I was just in a professional mode, like, oh, come on in, whatever. And then she has this little baby. Yeah. And it was just so like, she's nurturing this baby. And it was just so like the feeling, maybe this is the confession. It made me feel like, like some people get everything. Like this mom loves her baby and has the milk for the baby. Like, but it wasn't like, I was like, excuse me, can I have some too? I would like some. But I never. That's a confession. Yeah, I don't actively want to drink breast milk. It brought up something in that moment, and then obviously I'm go to therapy enough to be like, okay, save that for later. But it was an interesting moment for sure.
You wish that you used to drink breast milk.
Yeah, maybe it unlocked the part of me that was like, but I didn't get this. Oh, and then I was like, it's not fair.
I want milk.
I think we should do another half hour.
I want milk, Mommy.
Well, because I have a twin, so she got.
Did your twin get?
Yeah.
Oh. So does the twin do the baby voice?
No.
Oh, I think we found something here. I think we found something here.
Did we?
All of this is like baby voice and we're breastfed. Your sister doesn't do a baby voice and was breastfed.
I still don't know how to solve it. I mean, yes, these are all facts you're saying, but I don't know what it does to change my situation. I guess I need to get breastfed.
Yeah. Find someone now.
If anyone is just lactating like crazy, it needs someone to
help them out. Teresa.
Someone will say yes, and that's why
Someone at Teresa Lee.
We can public records them, see if they have a warrant.
No. You can have a time machine. How about back to the time machine, make me a baby again, and then breastfeed me?
Well, a time machine wouldn't make you a baby. Do you think that
it's not a real time machine.
That's a horrible time machine. You can only go back as far as you were alive.
That should be a feature, though, right? You should be able.
How would you do that?
You should be able to do both. You should be able to change your age and change the time.
The time machine doesn't exist.
Oh yeah. So what if I choose? I'm going to be 12 years old in 1912.
Oh yeah. Then why do I look 23?
Oh.
Whoa.
Bringing it back. Perfect. Thank you for that.
That's great.
Okay, we're going to have some advice questions, and I thought this one was good for you because you also have a podcast.
Okay.
The question is, how do I put out a podcast? I've tried and failed in the past. I even have some recorded episodes. Tier.
Will it release them?
I already told you how to do it. No, I'm just kidding. You didn't have to get me on the podcast to ask.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it sounds like they understand. They want it. Well, it's so vague, but I feel like this person wants to do a podcast. I'm not sure what you want to do it about. And so that's a little hard because I'm not sure if you're like, I want to do a podcast, but you're trying different things you don't care about, or you genuinely try things you care about and you just got to keep going. But I would say, based on the little information I know, finding something you really care about and have a lot to say about. And ideally have like, if you're doing it alone, then definitely have a lot to say. Or if you have a lot of friends, like if you're a comedian and you want to have comedians on, like knowing who your audience is, but you should be your audience too. So if it's something you think is a good idea for the sake of a podcast, but you wouldn't listen, it might be hard.
Right. Yeah. Like me, I'm doing this podcast just to get advice for myself. And if you guys like it, I don't care.
I used to have a podcast when I moved to LA called I Don't Know You, and it was just a way to meet new people. I literally just invited like 10 comedians on that I liked at shows and said, I'm doing a podcast. They came over.
That's why I started
this podcast. It was nice.
When I came to LA, I didn't realize like how willing most comedians are to do most things.
Even to do this garbage podcast.
It's not a garbage podcast. It's
some big names. No, this is a great podcast. It's small. It's very homey. It's very like grassroots. We don't have a studio. We're in an apartment. We're in my sublet.
I listen. This is me.
It's great.
Responding.
Yeah.
I remember when I was in college, there was we did a speak with Bong Joon-ho, who's the director of Parasite,
my God, yes.
Mother, all these like phenomenal movies. Okja, great. And he was like, we are people of society. Like we exist in society. We like, are not like outcasts. We are like in the world and like have friends and all this stuff. And we like certain things. Yeah. And it's almost, unless we're like this like weird outcast, it's almost statistically unlikely that you are going to like something that no one else likes.
Right.
And so it like, if you think something is good, chances are someone else does too. And so if you're like, oh, this is a good idea, I bet someone else does too. So just do it.
Yeah. I think that's totally true. And I think if you end up being one of the few that are doing it, then you'll start that and people will maybe discover it and like it. Mm-hmm. But I guess more tactically if you're starting it and you feel like you're failing. I don't know if your goal is to get on. I don't know what failing means, but that there are like forums, I think, and there's like, groups you can join. If it's a podcast about true crime, I'm sure you can join a true crime network. Or also something I did when I started is because I don't know if you're a comedian, but if you're a comedian, you can do other comedians' podcasts and promote your podcast, or ask people if they will like play a trailer of yours, in exchange to play a trailer of theirs. Things like that, I think might help. Hopefully that was helpful.
People are more willing to say yes than you would think.
I think the only way to keep doing it is if you have fun doing it, because this shit is so hard.
Yeah.
And if you're not having fun with what you're doing, and if you're not enjoying like actually recording it and talking to people, you're just never going to keep doing it. And if you're focused on the end result of like, oh, I need this many people to stream it or this many people to listen, you're also never going to be able to keep going because it just takes so long.
Enjoy the ride.
Enjoy the ride. Enjoy the process.
Not gratifying.
It's so bad. Yeah, exactly. It's the opposite of going viral.
Really is.
It's just a really slow.
It's also like,
burn.
I feel like comedy and podcasts are like the two things I'm like embarrassed whenever someone's like, you know what I mean?
Really?
I always get such high embarrassment. I'm like, oh yeah, I have like or I do stand-up comedy, or like I do podcasts. It's like, you know what I mean?
I think that's because we're in LA. Because a lot of people, this is something I kind of understand, because I used to think like, oh, cringe, I don't want to start one, and who do I think I am? But a lot of people in the rest of the country don't have access to like live shows, especially, queer people don't have as much access to like.
Queer. We didn't even talk about queer shit. You're queer.
I mean, I'm talking about being a mommy. No, I don't know. That's queer. That's not queer.
Everything's pretty queer.
Is it? No, maybe. No, I'm trying to. I'm like, I feel like everything I always just say is queer because I'm queer. But then I'm like, wait, is being a baby queer? That's really funny, actually. Is being a baby queer? Fellas, is it gay if you're a baby?
I think wanting breast milk is a pretty queer thing. That's a pretty.
I don't know.
It's just a baby thing.
Straight thing.
Yeah,
it's a baby
if
thing.
You're a woman and your mom's a woman, that's pretty gay.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, I think I would have wanted it even if I was not a woman. I think I would have wanted to survive. But who knows? Maybe not.
All female babies are gay.
I didn't say it.
Yeah.
That's who knows? We don't know.
You heard it here first. Jack said it on the podcast.
I don't even remember what we were saying.
Anyway, okay, here this is a way to talk about being queer, because this is gonna be our last question.
Cool.
How do you break into the queer dating scene as a less experienced lesbian?
Oh my god, this sounds like a person asking about comedy. How do I break into the dating scene?
That's true.
What? Okay. What?
Yeah.
What?
Do your type 5.
Yeah.
I think is this a comedian talking? Because maybe
it is.
I understand the question, but it is worded so funny because it's implying like there's
like a closed
like
community.
there is a scene, I think, but this might be more of a young person thing. Is like there's a scene that feels cool and you want to be part of that cool thing. But I think dating across generations has always been uncool. You know what I mean? Like dating is the same thing across all generations.
Jack has a date
later. Ooh, okay.
Jack will have to tell us about it next episode. Okay.
But this sounds like someone who is maybe recently dating at all. I want to say my guess is they're younger, either just came out or is a little more younger, inexperienced in terms of the dating world. Mm-hmm. So the idea of breaking into a scene, I would say, honestly, do what you're doing, hang out, and then like you'll date. And don't worry, the queer community, a lot of exes will be around.
Yes,
so
they'll find you.
I don't think you need to like feel like
just look.
You need to break into the scene. Honestly, I think it's ideal if as someone dating, you don't feel like there's a scene, to be honest. I don't know if I don't know, maybe it's different now, but I don't know if I want to like go to a party and see all my exes, which is what happens in comedy and the queer community. So I almost feel like just like someone and
go
date them,
Tinder
and then you're fine.
You'll
be fine.
All right for every single person.
Yeah,
and
you'll be
have
fine.
sex with all of them.
And if no one matches with you, then you're probably not worth anything. Mm-hmm. You know, maybe go back to being straight. I don't know.
We like to bully our listeners.
If you're,
when I say we, I mean Jack.
Yeah, if you're queer for 2 years and nothing happens, go back.
Ooh, I know what you could do. Actually, I have a good advice. Go to Birdhouse.
That's that's such a good call.
Great place to meet. And we have audience bringing dates. I won't call them out, but regulars who bring multiple dates.
We have a lot of queer
it's a cool place to meet people.
And we have a lot of queer comedians.
Really fun.
It's a cool place to meet people. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe we should do like a little bit of a schmooze fest after the show.
I mean, sure.
We can encourage people to
We can, yeah. I mean, I think people do.
They do, but we can make it.
We can go with them.
Speed dating after the
we
show.
can join them. Is what you're saying?
Yeah, I want to do speed dating.
Really go into flirting right after a show. That's nuts.
Okay. Well.
Yeah.
Teresa, thank you so much for being on the pod.
Thank you for having me.
Teresa's going to Edinburgh in the fall.
Right.
I am in August. Yeah, just for a week.
In August, and you have what else do you want to plug? Plug.
Well, I don't know. My podcast will come back, but when it does, I mean, you can listen to old episodes.
Listen to all the episodes.
I should have you guys on. It's called You Can Tell Me Anything. It is available on all the apps. Wow. And follow me on Instagram at Teresa Lee Bot. And I guess Threads now because we're doing that.
Threads.
Follow me on Threads.
I already hate it.
I don't hate it. I'm figuring it out. I feel like you would be good on Threads.
I'm not good on Twitter, would I?
Yeah, I don't know. Okay,
Anyways.
well, Jack wants to plug their Threads. What's your Threads?
I think it's at 409 something. I don't know. I'm like the 4 millionth member. You don't know how his little number's up top in your thing now?
Oh, yeah.
You don't know?
Yeah.
Look at your Instagram. If you have Threads, it put a little number on top of your thing.
What?
And
how do you feel about Threads?
That's the number of which you join.
What does that mean?
It means that's where.
Where do I see it?
It should be on the top.
No, on Instagram.
Oh.
So if you look at mine, it says
what?
446.
Teresa doesn't have it.
Where's it?
5.
What?
Yeah.
Have it.
Look at mine or Jack's. I'm sure the listeners are dying. Nope.
Oh, I just need to update my phone.
Oh, yeah, it's not there.
Yeah, it says I'm 444th million to join Threads.
Nice. Congrats. And thank you for listening if you listen to this wonderful episode of Yenta.
Yeah.
Okay.